Hello, sir. How are
Hel-
you doing this morning?
Fantastic, Sheriff. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing, because not only are you finding and getting research, valuable research on your own about what's happening in the jail system, but you're showing the rest of the world how serious your position in life is, and how you just keep growing and protecting people as well as knowing what they're doing.
Yes, sir. I certainly consider this a calling, not a job. And once you answer the call, it's important that you understand exactly what you should be doing in that season of your life to influence or change the people that you are interacting with. So I certainly take it very, very seriously.
The show we're talking about is 60 Days In on A&E. 7 ex-cons voluntarily going in, and that's amazing to me, because that shows what you're doing with people as they grow beyond that jail cell, is that they want to help as well.
That's correct. They certainly want help as well, and it's important that we give them that help that they need, that they can relate to. And also for us, and we call this exploratory surgery. A jail is a city within a city.
Yep.
And it's important that my administration understand to change the culture. We needed the eyes and the ears to give us the specifics to find out realistically what was going on so that we can change it or address it in real time.
Now, I'm up here in Carolina, and I know that, up here we talk a lot about what goes on down there in Georgia. And, I mean, your guys' jail system is, you guys play by different rules and things.
I'm not necessarily familiar with the other areas. I've been across this state and across this country to different jails, and but the basic principles are still the same. You would have some that are higher, some that are lower. With respect to where we are here, it's important to note that this is all about changing a culture and making sure that we raise level of consciousness with respect to where law enforcement should be in the 21st century. And we're doing a consistent chopping the wood work here to make sure that we have the personnel that understands that, to make sure that we raise levels of consciousness, not only internally, but with respect to the community, so that we can develop relationships along the way. And we know, no relationships, no trust.
Oh, my God, you just hit it right on the head. I love it when you say that when they get back out into the community, because the community, I know that here in Charlotte, they're starting to embrace it in the way of saying, look, you come out, I got a job for you, and we're going to grow with your life. And it has to start somewhere, Sheriff, and it's starting with you.
Yes, sir, it does. And I think my life experiences and my professional experiences allows me to be humble and to meet people where they are and to ensure that at least when we walk away from our experiences together, that we're both better because of it and that we can grow to help reach out to someone else and help them to do the same.
The show we're talking about is 60 Days In on A&E. For listeners, wouldn't you say that what you're doing, it's almost like the secret shopper at a grocery store or at a business? You're going in there and you're learning things so that people can have, better improvement in their lives.
That's correct. Holistically, there is so many areas that we need to attack here with respect to the cleanliness of the jail, the mental output of the inmates that come here, and whether or not they're able to deal with where they are from a clinical perspective, and whether or not our officers are able to deal with the challenges that they look at day to day or experience day to day and be able to clinically unpack that. And so it is challenging across the board, and it's important that we address that professionally and systematic and methodically along the way, quite frankly.
We talked about the 7 ex-cons voluntarily going in. Do average everyday people reach out to you, Sheriff, and say, hey, look, I want to be a part of this as well? But the thing is, I know personally, I probably couldn't last 6 days.
No, it was a partnership between myself, A&E, and Lucky 8. We had an opportunity to screen some people who we thought had the pedigree at this point in their life to help us in our task-specific mission. And once we did that, we got a group of people, the 7 that you would see and experience during this time frame on 60 Days In, that I believe got us some valuable information so that we can grow and be better because of it.
So now, what can the community do for you? Since you're doing so much for us to make sure that things are safer and all that, what can we do for you, Sheriff?
Well, there's an old proverb that says, in all of your getting, get understanding. And oftentimes we're so busy at looking and judging one person and judging the all because of the actions of one. If we can get better understanding from each other, quite frankly, on both sides of the aisle, then we can start to put the word back into what I think we live in, which is just states. because the word united has been absent.
Yeah.
So we can do that. I think we can start calling ourselves the United States once again.
Do you think that we also need to quit judging the book by its cover? Because once word gets out that, oh, my God, oh, man, and then all of a sudden we think we have to judge. We have to be able to love our brothers and sisters, not judge them.
Absolutely, and that's why I really honor A&E for one of the things they did on this series in terms of taking a look in my background and showing that this you may see that this is a sheriff in uniform, but do you know where he came from? Do you know the challenges he went through? And they're going to show that in 60 days in this time frame, and I think that would give a different perspective as to we are human too.
How do you keep the show so real in the way that, I mean, it's almost like Scared Straight, that documentary that we had when we were younger, but the show is so real, and you do not glorify what life is like in jail. You just keep it so down to earth real.
Right, and the jail is not a Marriott, and you have people that are coming here, unfortunately, at a time frame in their life that they're having challenges, or more specifically, they've broken the law. And when you put those people into one building, you will have challenges.
Yep.
But it's incumbent upon us as professionals to make sure we separate the wheat from the chaff, quite frankly, to make sure that we have order inside and that we consistently calm the water.
When you say that you break up the groups and stuff like that, is that because we're a changing nation right now in the way that with this looming recession, with poverty growing and things like that in this country, there are people that are going to make their way to jail that really, they made the crime because they were just trying to survive, sir?
That's true. That may be one of many reasons that people choose to break the law, but yet for the grace of God, there go I.
Yeah.
And so I know that there are a lot of challenging things that people go through and probably would say that they would never do some of these type of things, but then they wind up in these type of situations, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Thus, one of the many reasons that we have this type of job in law enforcement, to be here as a beacon of light during these time frames that are challenging in their lives.
Well, this community needs you, and I can't thank you enough, Sheriff, for doing what you do.
I'm honored, sir, and thank you so much for having me.
You bet. You come back anytime. The door's always going to be open for you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir. No problem at all. Thank you so much.